Before I begin today's video, if you want one of the beautiful flags that are behind me or one of your own prefab or custom made, go to my friends over at bhedesigns.com through the link in the box, order what you want, and tell them that ABL sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, aka Beetlejuice, trying to shut down a black church service while it was going on via the police force coming in, banging on the doors, guns drawn, and everything else. Now, before I go any further, I got to back up a little bit here to give you some context as to what's going on with Chicago, with Lori Lightfoot, and anything from the federal government that could be tied in here. Now, Chicago, Illinois, they're trying to keep that whole thing locked down for, I'm not really sure, forever, for eternity and perpetuity, like never reopening. I'm not really sure when the reopening date is going to be, but apparently they're not reopening right now. The mayor, Lori Lightfoot, has always been on TV, wearing the mask or not wearing the mask, talking about, hey, you guys got to stay home. We got to slow the spread, flatten the curve, all this, that, and the third. You can't go to a barbershop, beauty salon, although she went to a barbershop talking about, oh, well, I got to be out in the public eye. I have a job. It's like, well, you don't say. You have your job and that's fine. You are quote unquote essential and you were able to get a haircut at a place, I guess, that's not supposed to be open because you're quote unquote essential, but irregular everyday normie can't go to work to feed the kids and to feed themselves. They can't get a haircut. They can't get the nails done. But you can because you have deemed yourself to be more important and more essential than everybody else in the city and in the state for that matter. But I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole, so I digress. My whole point is that the mayor Beetlejuice, Lori Lightfoot, is really restrictive on what Chicagoans can do, as is the governor Pritzker in Illinois in general, okay? Once you go down to like East St. Louis, Illinois, you can't really do that much, but in actual St. Louis, it's better. And then once you go out in the county in Missouri and St. Louis, it's much better. So people talking about, oh, well, we got to follow the models and listen to what the experts say. Well, if everybody's following the same models and we're all listening to the same quote unquote experts, then why is the policy different in the same region? Okay, East St. Louis, is separated by a river. So in one place, things are good. In another part of the same place, things aren't quite as good. In another part of the place, everything's all bad, everything's shut down. It doesn't make any sense at all. But let's get back to Chicago and this whole black church situation. Now, apparently, a lot of churches are reopening because let's not forget, Trump just deemed churches as essential. All right. And they are, because like I was saying in my previous video, churches are required in the lives of many. It's not the same to just have it online and to just kind of view on the screen. I mean, there are plenty of churches that exist on the internets. You know, you can watch Joel Osteen's stream on the internet, a lot of other pastors online, but to be able to be in the place, to fellowship, to, you know, have that, you know, in-person communication, it ain't nothing like it. Okay. To be able to worship whatever you worship, whoever you worship in person is nothing like it. You might be able to get some of the experience online or in your car outside or something like that, or on the radio, but to be in person is what many Americans and what, quite frankly, many people around the world need in their lives. It is an essential service. It is an essential business. It is a required thing, according to the Constitution. First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. It says it right there in black and white. There is not much interpreting that needs to be done. It's right there laid out for you. Okay, people want to say, oh, well, it doesn't really count right now. We're in the center of a pandemic. The pandemic's been over with. Okay, the pandemic really only happened in New York City, not even the rest of the United States, if you want to be honest. And that's been over for a long time. They sent that ship out there talking about, okay, we got 8,000 beds. We're gonna take the whole city. They might have had like 20 patients in there. There was a $20 million like triage type center that was erected in New York and nobody got treated there. They shut it down, you know, recently here. So the virus is not as bad as what they thought it was going to be. And it was only bad at all in one particular part of the country, not everywhere else. Okay, but moving right along, the churches are saying, okay, Trump says we're essential. We know we're essential. We're going to have our services. Now, Lori Lightfoot did not think that that was going to be right. She thought, okay, we're going to shut you down because you got to stay home. So she sent the police with arms to bang on the door to try and shut them down. Now, luckily, a lot of black churches have security, and they were instructed to never open the door during the service. And that's very smart because we've seen what happened in South Carolina with Dylan Roof. You know, he came in probably during the service as it was going on, you know, start shooting people. There was another church, I think it might have been in Texas, similar situation, guy looked suspicious, not really supposed to be there, okay? And they had armed guards. So churches, they are secure, they're tightening their security up, and the police officers were not allowed to go inside the church. So shout out to the church for not allowing that to go down, for not being shut down, for continuing to have their services. But it's really crazy when the mayor, the black mayor, mind you, of your city, is attempting to shut down a black church using a police force. Okay, I was always taught or told, at least by the internet, that I had to worry about the white supremacists trying to come into a church and shoot me and arrest me, all this, that, and the third. But it's really my own black Democratic mayor that I voted for if I'm in Chicago, and I voted for Lori Lightfoot. Now, luckily, I'm not in Chicago, and I would never vote for Lori Lightfoot at all, because I know to do things like this. When you look at religion, how it's protected all around the country, you go to the red states, there's much less restrictions on churches. Even if there were certain guidelines that say, okay, you can't have this place open, social distancing, face masks, it's a lot less enforced in the red states than it is in the blue states. I've not heard of any church in the red state being raided. Okay, now if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. I think I did hear about a drive-in church service where they were giving tickets in Mississippi, but I didn't hear about anybody, you know, bum rushing the church, trying to lock people up or nothing like that, banging on the door with guns. I've not heard about anything like that in the red states. Okay, this is a thing that happens more in the blue states. Everything's still shut down. And then my question is why? We're almost in June. The sun is shining, it's gonna be very warm. We know that UV rays, sunlight contribute to killing the virus a lot more than obviously not having UV rays, not having sunlight, being trapped in your house. So why are we still trying to keep people in their homes, not allow them to go outside, no church services? What are we really doing? We need to be more like Sweden as it relates to what they did. You can see the numbers. It plays out pretty well. It was not some kind of disastrous fiasco where everybody in the country died because the virus does not kill everybody it comes in contact with anyway. Okay, it was a pretty good result. They did not kill their economy. They were able to weather the storm. They did minor things, social distancing, and that's pretty much it. The government of a place, all they should really be doing right now as I close is giving you the information that they have, okay? You can wear a face mask, you can social distance and have that be that. Don't try to force me to do X, Y, and Z, okay? Don't try to shut my church service down. Like Trump said, it's essential. Like the Constitution says, First Amendment, it's my right to have free exercise of my religion. You can't dictate to me how I'm supposed to practice. That's just not really how it goes. Hopefully more people wake up and see what the Democratic Party are doing. Not just in Chicago, not just in Illinois as a state, but all over the United States, wherever the Democrats are in power. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was correct to try and send the police to a church to shut it down? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or was not the right thing to do? Should you just reopen churches and let everybody that goes there do what they want? Okay, some people are going to say, oh, you're going to be in risk, you're going to die. First of all, like I said, low risk of dying, even if you get the virus. And at a certain point, you can't just stay home forever. The virus ain't going to go nowhere. It's talking about it's going to be a cure. There's going to be no cure or no vaccine. Even if there is eventually a cure or a vaccine, how long is that going to take? They're talking about end of the year. What if it's not done by the end of the year? You're going to stay home for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? If you could do that without getting evicted and pay your bills and eat food and all that good stuff, then that's fine. Hey, hats off to you. But meanwhile, people still got lives to live. Kids got to go to school. You can't just stop life because you're afraid of death. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.